Have you ever imagined slowly giving yourself paper cuts in between each finger and then putting toothpicks in your toenails and kicking a wall full force? Then you can begin to understand the pain I felt while watching the first 4 episodes of Velma. With a Rotten Tomato score equivalent to the writer's IQ, I have to ask the question, who is this for?
If society exerted half this effort teaching girls not to be slaves to the patriarchy, we wouldn't have this problem in the first place.
Hello, friends. My name is Fred. What's yours?
Why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Now they brand it as an adult cartoon show, but within the second episode, they instantly insult adults for watching cartoons.
You know what 420 is, right?
Yeah. It's code for adults who still watch cartoons.
This stigma that Hollywood has against animation is just really old at this point. Animations and cartoons are a beautiful way of storytelling for all ages, and it doesn't make sense that Hollywood thinks only children should watch cartoons. And there are certain shows that can ironically insult their viewership, but the way it's done is really in bad taste, and the characters that say it are pretty annoying and unforgivable. And I really don't think the writers or Minnie Kaling meant it as a joke either. They hate cartoons. And it's not really for children, because besides from the unironic sexualizing of the children in the show, there's too much gore and adult themes that don't allow it to be one of the shows that can be watched by children and adults. Specifically, an issue I had with the show, similar to my critique on Wednesday, is they don't really set up rules for the universe. One of the main mysteries they're trying to solve is to find the murderer in the town who's obviously a bad person doing bad things, but at the same time, there's so many bloody battles between characters and someone's leg literally being chopped off, and then in the same episode, Fred getting shot in both knees but walking the next second, and then a baby getting hit by a car but the baby's fine. It doesn't feel like there's any ramifications to this universe, but at the same time, the main conflict is someone who's doing almost the same actions in the town, and I wish he would do it to me before I watched the show. I don't know what I'm saying, I'm gonna cut that part out. But let's get into the real meat of the show. The characters are so one-dimensional and insufferable that I just can't imagine all the hands this got passed through and the people that created the show. Like, it takes a lot of people to create shows, especially animation. It's a long process, and no one questioned anything. No one said, Velma's a bitch.
Oh, sorry I'm not a drunk on the verge of losing custody like every other woman solving murders these days.
You serious?
But even worse than that, I think the dialogue just feel and sound like a 10-year-old Twitter shitpost. It really tries its best to be a meta commentary and be very self-aware, but there are many points where it's so self-aware that it kind of shoots itself in the foot.
If you're gonna be sexy, you have to own it. You look like a white influencer trying to choreograph her own dance instead of just stealing one.
Now, it's no mystery that Minnie Kaling probably wrote this show under an original IP, and the producers at Warner Brothers forced her to put it into the Scooby-Doo universe, creating this contentment for its own original source material. Now, you can watch my video or any of the 100 videos out there about how awful this show is, or any of the reviews online, but no one's going to hate this show more than the creators. The best part of Scooby-Doo is having the mystery gang get together and solve mysteries as friends. And even if this is a supposed origin story, why would any of them want to be friends? They're such awful people in their own regards, and especially to each other. And specifically for Velma, I don't know what Minnie Kaling was trying to do with this character. Now, there's some stories where you can have a character who's unlikable and unredeemable, but you still feel sympathy for their situation or the story they're going through. But if that's what they were going for, they totally missed the mark. Basically, if Scooby was in this show, I'd put it down in the backyard with a shovel.
In nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti.
Now, after the first 2 episodes, I wanted to wait a week before making a video so I could watch the 3rd and 4th to see if they did anything better, made the characters more likable, ironed out the story, made it an overall better show. Spoiler alert, they did not.
Talking about the hot girl list? Be careful, cause us bitches will do anything to get on it. Anything.
These 2 episodes were like running a marathon barefoot on broken glass and self-deprivation. While they moved further away from the mystery genre this show is supposedly supposed to have, it really doubled down on the worst part of the show, the sexualization of these kids. Now, in the first episode, it does make the joke that a lot of TV shows sexualize high school kids because they're played by adults, And this is not going to be one of those kind of shows, but here's the first episode to get everyone into it. But 3 episodes later, it focuses almost entirely on pedophilia.
Ooh, they are so hot, daddy like.
It's past the point where it's ironic and funny, and as you're watching, you try your hardest to really disassociate and pretend these aren't kids they're talking about. I'm just convinced that Mindy Kaling is so out of touch with reality that these awful characters she's writing are actually pieces of herself that she's mistakenly showing to the world. There's no wonder that this show is released at 3 a.m., the witching hour, because it makes me feel like I'm being burned alive. But I'll end my critique for this show with one final statement. Pretty obvious the type of person they're villainizing in this show, who's the butt of these awful jokes. But one of the main problems with Hollywood that's seen so specifically through this show is putting down men to prop up women. Now, my problem with that isn't because I think men should be put down. If they're a bad character, put them down. But the question is, why can't you just write a powerful, good female character? I'll end saying that I like the art style. I think the animation's pretty cool. I don't think it's the worst show ever created. It misses the mark tremendously. And there are some awful characters in the show, especially Velma herself. Don't write a show about a character whose main flaw is judging people too quickly, but then is always right in her judgments. That's not a real flaw. If you want someone to relate to a character and enjoy the show, do better.
Yeah, but isn't it a little comforting to see a rich white guy get wrongly convicted for once?
I'm too distracted to enjoy it.
So I don't know if I'll keep watching the show. I might just to see if Norvell stops being a simp for Velma. But that's all I have for you guys today. Make sure you like and subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.